appreciate you all, coming through. Really excited to answer your questions. Let's do it.
Okay, my first question is joining a chamber of commerce in your town or in your community, is that beneficial, or is it worth it, or
I got you loud and clear.
Okay.
And I'm familiar with this topic. Okay, let's just look at it at chambers of commerce can be very beneficial to you if what they offer is useful to you.
Okay.
So let's assume that you have a chamber of commerce that they say that they only have 23 members, and all 23 members. Why are you going to pay $250 for that, right?
Okay.
If there's 1,000 members and one of them, right?
Yes.
Then there's a logic there. Well, some chambers of commerce are active, right?
Okay.
Where they have events for new members.
Okay.
Then they have opportunities for new members to showcase.
Okay.
Well, then you start to realize, these are venues where I can build more contacts, more relationships that, so your investment in time and money is overtly obvious. It's obvious to see how this is going to benefit you. So what I would say is on the lowest tier, evaluate the activity level of your of the local membership. Look at if there's a regional chamber that might be better to join than the local. Consider finding, a way to partner with them where you don't. If it's let's assume that their membership's $350. You see that they have one event a month, and they're kind of events that have really no purpose that'll benefit you.
Okay.
Well, you do two things. If I'm going to join this organization, I'm going to help them jumpstart, activities for members, and then we'll host it at my store.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So if it depends on how you look at every opportunity.
Yeah.
So just do a little bit of analysis on it and use just what we shared.
Okay.
What else?
And I had getting the name out with the product. Now the only avenue that I have explored so far is just advertising as far as the building itself. I haven't done a mass advertisement yet, which I'm thinking about doing, like getting it with the post office, where the name Freezy Breezy will go in each and every door in this town, because it's a small town. The demographics are small.
Sure. It's like an insert or something.
Yeah, like an insert or
some type of. Okay, so what's the question?
But I'm not computer savvy. I'm 62. I'm old. I'm not, So my thing is, do I get the do I hire someone to teach me the computer to do these things myself, or just go to the post office and just get a quote?
You know what I would like to do, and I'll work with you on this. Look, what are you trying to get accomplished? Drive more business, and by how much? Right? Like how much are you looking to? To increase your business,
Okay, what I'm trying to get accomplished, my main thing of trying to get accomplished is letting them know that Freezy Breezy sells more than ice cream.
Okay.
A lot of people, when they come in the store, the first thing they see is, oh, I thought you guys just sold ice cream. They knew nothing about my other products. None of the soups, none of the sandwiches, none of anything like that. So that's when I have to let the people know, like, no, there's more than just ice cream in Freezy Breezy.
Right. So I think if you're trying to get awareness out,
right,
that there's more to Freezy Breezies, there's several ways that you probably could achieve that. One way would be inserts, through a mail.
Okay.
So obviously when you evaluate that, the first starting point is which vehicles can help you achieve that. So, there might be the Penny Saver, right? There might be the local paper. There might be church papers. There's all these different vehicles, right?
Okay.
So I think some come with a cost, some don't.
Okay.
So I think looking at all the vehicles to get the word out about this in your community, find out what they are, and then figure out what the costs are with them.
Okay.
And then how many people do they reach? How many folk do they reach?
Right.
What's the cost associated with that? And then make an intelligent decision on, you know, or I would say, you know, before you make a commitment, you know, why don't you get one of their publications, actually call the people that are being advertised, call one of the companies that are advertising, say, how has this helped you?
Okay.
Ask 5 of them.
Okay.
We're like, was it worth it?
Was it worth it?
Instead of you spending money and then, you know, because your money's very important, you know, and you want to use it wisely. So don't be afraid to do a little due diligence and ask people. So if you can, you know, identify, you know, let's assume you're more interested in creating awareness, you're not using it to necessarily catapult sales, you might look at, how do I leverage earned media for this? Okay, earned media is free news reporters and radio coverage.
Yeah,
right?
I do a radio spot.
Okay.
Which I just started doing. I just started doing that last month.
Okay.
And it's local.
Okay.
So, and people have come in from the radio spot, which, like I said, they didn't know.
Are you tracking it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you paying for it, or is it no
it's,
cost?
It's $50 a month, but it comes on 3 times a day.
Okay. So that would be a pretty clear one that it would probably be a good investment in your money. You know? So I think just, you know, if you came to me and said, Carmen, here's the list of the stuff. This is how many people they serve. You know, this is the cost. We could talk about it if you wanted to call me up. And then we could make a little plan on that. If let's assume that there's, you know, let's assume that there's communities that are external to where you live. Okay, that your location is essential for them in their their commute. You know, let's assume that where you live it's on a major highway or something.
Yeah, it is.
Well, how do we position your coupons and your investment in those communities so that we get more transient traffic, right? So I'd be interested in knowing, or having you think about which are the couple communities you would look at to pull more sales out of, and maybe look at the same. What are those vehicles here? You know, let's say, here's all the earned media outlets: the Penny Saver, Thrifty Mag, regular, you know, newspaper, church-related distributions, you know, PTA stuff. Here's all these vehicles. You know, just get a list of those and understand what their costs are and how many people they serve. And then if you have a framework for looking at your own community, we can apply that framework to the other communities. So let's assume that, you know, we figured out, you know, for you know, ultimately $250, you know, a month, you could take advantage of this entire system. Well, let's assume, you know, that's a good amount of money. Let's put it to work and test it. So we do structured approaches. You're going to launch your advertisement on this date, and we leverage their staff, because their staff are, you know, they need to know if their stuff's effective. So you're like, I want you to work with me so I'll know if this investment is worth it. So you got to take the ownership of letting everybody know, if you're going to invest, this isn't taken lightly, that we want to know that this is an investment so we can continue this relationship. So I'm babbling a little bit, but just think of, once we get a framework to figure out how to get the word out in your own town, we could reapply that to communities that are relevant to you in your growth approach.
Okay.
What else?
I'm okay. That's enough.
That's enough?
Yeah.
Do you want to ask anything else before we close it out?
Taxes.
Very important question. Keep up on your taxes, all right? Okay, I know you're probably behind already, and you don't have to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
right. Well, that's the problem here. Is I got $3,000 behind on mine, and it took me a long time to pay it back, and you know, I'm down to $420. But the thing is, if I would have listened to somebody standing across me and saying, "Pay your damn taxes," okay, if I would have listened to them and not try to rationalize from the very beginning, then my life would have been a lot easier.
Well, let me ask you this question. Now, if you get a tax bill, and they say, okay, I went on to try to pay my taxes, and okay, say the taxes only came up to $300-something. You know, I mean, you know, just giving throwing a figure out there. But I got a tax bill saying, okay, because you didn't file it was.
Hold on, real quick. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Hi, I'm in the middle of a mentoring session right now. Can I call you right back? Thanks. All right.
So you get a bill for like, because you failure to file, you have to pay $1,500 or $1,600. Okay, and that's for like maybe 1 month or 2 months. And I'm like, okay, but I hadn't talked to my daughter, so she said, Mom, that's because you didn't file. That's not the actual tax, because it's kind of scared me, so I didn't pay any. You know. So then when I finally called the lady, she said, Miss, she said, then I got one for like $6,000, but it was failure to file. So she said, just file them, even if you don't send any money in. You at least file them, and then you pay, so that way you don't have that.
Right, because they're going to be accumulating. This is the one thing you need to understand. The government right now is the biggest bully, and if you don't pay your money, they're taxing you major amounts. So any day you're not acting on that is a problem.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is I want you to call into them and get on a payment plan. They have structured payment plans that'll pull out X amount out of your check in a month, and they won't bug you. Okay. About the total nut.
Okay.
All right. But if you don't, it's the worst thing to do. You got to get on a payment schedule with them, and just don't swallow your pride. Be like, I'm behind X amount, or I need to get my arms around this. And what I would like you to do is maybe consider paying the money, hiring an accountant moving forward, where your checks go to them. All the I don't know how this would work with your deposits and whatnot, but you would find a strategy that would allow them to be the ones that do the books for you and make sure everyone's getting paid, the state and local. You've got to figure out a model to simplify it, because it's my weakness, it's everyone's weakness, and it's of us minority business owners. It's what puts us, one good entrepreneur, out of the running to start a new venture, because we get behind so much that we always think that we're going to get back to it, and we put it off, and it doesn't happen. And so, and then what I see from coming out of you is you might actually live out your vision of getting another location and doing this. So you don't want to ever put yourself in a position where you wouldn't be able to do that. But let's assume, and let's assume you're going to need to borrow money to achieve that vision. Well, you got to be up to speed on your stuff. So if you're not registering that you're on this payment plan, you're going to be delinquent, and then that'll bust.
Well, I'm only delinquent, like I said, in my sales tax, not my, just the sales, because like I say, when I have like $1,000,
you got to do it quarterly, and it's just like,
I got to sell a week's worth of ice cream just to pay this electric bill. I got to buy food. I got to pay my people, and it's just me. Everything is.
Do you have a revolving loan or revolving line credit?
I have no credit. I owe right now, I'd say so far, maybe about $4,000 in credit bills. That's it. Everything, all my inventory, everything is paid for.
Okay.
I have a freezer, a 0-degree freezer. Matter of fact, I got like 8 freezers.
Okay.
All of them are mine. Everything I pay for. Like I say, because I'm retired, so I took my retirement money, and so I owe nobody anything. When I order ice cream, my ice cream is paid for before I order it.
So I don't know a lot about like these services, like from Visa, these small business services like Open. Maybe read up on that stuff, like if there's any accounts that make sense for what you use. But what I would like you to do is don't wait another moment. If I can suggest you do anything, take the ownership of the process of what you need to do to get it right, so that there's nothing that impedes you for further growth down the road.
Okay.
That's the only, who cares what you did to get here? Let's just get it under control, and just take ownership of it. I would really appreciate that. Okay. So any questions for you?
I mean, as far as, where the taxes come completely, because, I filed for, establishing a business in the city of Philadelphia, but that's about all that I did up to this point. I had my business license, I created a tax ID, but I haven't received anything from the city, nor have I received anything from the state about taxing or paying taxes or filing taxes for that matter.
Well, the thing is you need to take ownership of everything, so you need to figure out what's all involved with the city. I'll send you a link that'll link you up with everything that's required of you, and you tell me what you've done and what you haven't. Instead of me sitting there telling you blah 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 blah. I have a checklist approach for that.
Okay.
But yeah, so the bottom line is is nobody said this part of the stuff is going to be easy, and this is where they get us folks, is because we think that we think that it's somehow going to get better if we wait, and it only gets worse because once they start compounding this money, it'll grow, it'll double before your eyes, and then you think logically that's unfair. Well, they don't care. They're going to put a lien on your shit, your stuff. You know, so you know, and I ignored the person that told me first because I thought, that doesn't really apply to me. But then I got one of my first big checks, right? And then I said, oh, I have needs right now, and it's just, I'll get around because I'm always going to be making money. No, you don't know if you're always going to be making the same amount of money. So don't put off what you can do today with that, and that's pretty much that. So I'll send you what you need to review so that you can be fully empowered to go and do all the steps. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then another thing I was thinking about as far as structuring my business, because right now I only have one employee. It's basically just me and one of my little friends from around the way. It's
probably best because then you might have to pay employee tax and things like employer tax.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, I was trying to figure out how that works because I didn't. Basically, that's all I've done. So I'm trying to figure out where that comes into play because I don't want it to just come out of nowhere like, yeah, you owe $5,000 in back taxes, and I'm like, well, I didn't even, I didn't even know.
It's directly linked to sales, so
And then how do I track sales daily like that? That's another thing too, structuring my daily sales.
Starting a business in PA, right? I want that back.
I got you.
Okay, so it might be outdated, but the good thing is I'm having somebody at that event that you'll be at talk about what it's required to do business with the state and what are the certification requirements and stuff like that. So breeze through that, and you can meet with me once a week. That's the good thing about this program. Yeah. Okay, so don't be afraid to, whether it's on the phone or whatever else. But I think for our next meeting, you maybe come out here. We'll sit down with the guys, talk about what is what's important to you in the very short term. So I think getting prepared to maximize when the weather's good is one thing we should be focused on, and how do we create a strategy for you to earn in your downtime. So if those would be two things I'd like to kind of focus on, just as low hanging fruit, okay. But it's like I said, it's really about you, what you want to do. Gotcha. So cool.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna walk us all out.